So first, let's start with the introduction. Some species, including Malayan tapir, have been declared as endangered species in Malaysia due to deforestation accompanied by habitat loss. Deforestation is a permanent removal of trees to provide areas for something beside forests such as agriculture, urbanization, and mining. Deforestation also can result in more threatened and endangered species as the trees are cut down at 4 times the sustainable rate and cause loss of habitat of the species. In Malaysia, Malayan tapir is one of the top 5 endangered species. So it has been classified as endangered species since 1986 as its population is estimated to decrease more than 50% in the past 3 generations. The main factor for decrease in Malayan tapir population is loss of available habitat where human-dominated land use and palm oil plantation have taken large scale of tapir habitat. So in order to conserve and protect the endangered species, authorities have set up some conservation measures such as building conservation centers and the campaign like Endangered Malaysians, that is the collaboration between Maxis and Department of Wildlife and National Parks Perhilitan are launched to raise public awareness and protect the endangered species. Therefore, for this study, we will focus on the level of awareness and general support of ISM staff and students on endangered species in Malaysia. The objective of this study is to compare the general support of ISM staff and students toward endangered species conservation in Malaysia and to classify ISM staff and students according to their awareness level on the endangerment issue of Malayan tapir. Next is methodology. So the method that is used for objective 1 is descriptive analysis, and for objective 2, decision tree is used. So decision tree is classification procedure that apply recursive partitioning to the dataset. We use the information gain measure to select the alternative splits. The measure to capture information needed to group the observation are as equation 1, where P is proportion of binary observations and N is the size of dataset. So we name the binary partition of the training dataset that are resulted from each choice of split result as D1 and D2, where D is equal to D1 union D2. I1 and I2 are information measures of each of these subsets, and we get measure of the combined information or entropy as in equation 2. So then we get the measure of the gain in knowledge by comparing the combined information with the original information by using equation 1 subtract to equation 2. Then we choose the split that provide greatest gain in information.
Okay, hi, my name is Adi. I would like to continue our presentation about our first objective, which is to compare the general support toward endangered species conservation between courses in Institute Science Mathematics. Based on the figure 2, which is the pie chart, as we can see that 70% of the ISM members were very interested to support the endangered species if they like its appearance, which means more than half of the ISM members are very interested to see the species by themselves, either to support or not, while another 30% did not care so much about the physical appearance in order to support this endangered species. So, should we really let appearance decide who lives and who dies, or should we take a more rational approach? I think rationally, when it comes to saving endangered species, may asking ourselves whether a world without a panda is something that we can bear. So specifically, most of the ISM members, includes our lecturer by each courses, have higher support compared to not support by their physical appearance, as it's shown in the figure 1, which is the bar graph. Especially from the applied mathematics courses member, all of them were very interested to support the endangered species based on their physical appearance. Otherwise, from the actual science courses member, half of them are not interested, but it's still more than half of them were very interested to support endangered species by looking at their physical appearance. This is the proof that ISM members are very interested to support the endangered species either by looking their physical appearance or not. So that means we can say that most of the ISM members were very likely to support endangered species by looking their physical appearance because they felt more comfortable when support by looking their physical appearance, which is better for them. However, only a few of them did not care so much about the physical appearance in order to support the endangered species. This is very good enough for ISM members that were noticed and very high awareness toward the endangered species, as every species in the world are very important to the natural habitat. That's all from me. I will pass presentation to my friend. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. So next we proceed for the second question for the first objective. The question states that it is essential to encourage the authorities to prevent industrial development in certain areas to protect these endangered species. So based on the pie chart above, we observe that 67% of the ISM member were strongly agreed to encourage the authorities to prevent industrial development in certain areas to protect these endangered species. We can see also 24% only agreed for this question. So there is 7%, which is 5 out of 70 respondents were not sure it is essential or not to prevent industrial development in certain areas to protect these endangered species, and there is only 2% are not agreed. So from this, we can say that most of the ISM members are aware that the industrial development was a serious problem that can cause extinction of the species, including this Malayan tapir. So the authorities such as Perhilitan, the Department of Wildlife and National Parks Malaysia should always have stronger commitment on the protection of the endangered species. If they did not prevent this industrial development in certain areas, this will lead to the deforestation where more habitats will be lost, and this is the greatest threat to the Malayan tapir especially. For example, in Southeast Asia, large patches of the rainforest are cleared to expand palm oil plantation due to the high demand for palm oil and for the sake of gaining profit for some company. As a result, the deforestation, residential animal or the shelter of animals have been removed, such as for the orangutan, Malayan tapir, Borneo elephant, Sumatran tiger, and other animals forcibly pushed closer to extinction. From result above, not only as an ISM member, as a humankind, we need to work together in order to take a good care of these endangered species from extinction by continuing support the authorities to prevent industrial development in certain areas, especially in our country, Malaysia.
Now that you've known the result of our first objective, shall we move on to the result of our second objective? Let's go. But before we go deeper, let me read out our second objective again. Our second objective is to classify ISM staff and students according to their awareness level on the endangerment issue of Malayan tapir. We use decision tree to carry out this objective, and here is the result. This decision tree used 49 observations as training dataset and have 78.6% of accuracy. Test data have 83.7% of accuracy, and finally the overall dataset scores 80% of accuracy, which is high and indicates that this decision tree is a good model.
Our decision tree consists of 8 splits. Pay attention because I'm about to highlight some important results from this decision tree. This one is from the question, do you agree that we can still see our Malayan tapir in the next 10 to 15 years? We found out that 51% of the ISM members answered agree, which reflects they are not aware of the state of extinction of Malayan tapir. It was reported in the Star that there were estimated to be about fewer than 1,500 Malayan tapir in Peninsular Malaysia. Although the lifespan of Malayan tapir is 30 years, but with frequent deforestation, forest fragmentation, followed by habitat loss, surviving is a tough option for Malayan tapir. Now, let's go down the decision tree together. So B1 is the question that we ask the respondents if they know the role of Malayan tapir, and majority of them do have some basic knowledge of Malayan tapir. And then we ask if Malayan tapir should be protected at all costs, and some of them do have some sense of duty to protect Malayan tapir in any way possible. And then we ask if setting aside small habitat is enough for conservation of Malayan tapir, and there are a few of them that think setting aside a small habitat for Malayan tapir is enough already to conserve Malayan tapir. And the last question we ask is about the statement of Malayan tapir is slowly forgotten through our ignorance and greed. And there are 6 out of 7 people who doesn't realize that Malayan tapir is slowly forgotten through our ignorance and greed. But they do agree that Malayan tapir is on the verge of extinction. So here is the second important result that we want to emphasize. There is 1 out of 49 members who has a very poor knowledge on the endangerment issue of Malayan tapir. This means that almost all of the ISM members are aware of the seriousness of this endangerment issue of Malayan tapir. And that were the 2 important results that we want to highlight. But there is still one more important result from our second objective, and it will be presented by my other team member, Fadila.
So thank you, Biha. So another important findings that we found from the third leaf notes on the decision tree is that 1 out of the 3 members, ISM members, has a very high level of awareness on the endangerment issue of Malayan tapir, where they are aware on the states of extinction of the Malayan tapir and have a very strong and basic knowledge on the endangerment issue. And this is somehow a good thing because we can see that the percentage of the one who have a very high level of awareness on the endangerment issue is higher than the one who have a very poor knowledge on this issue, like how Nabiha explained just now. So yeah, that is a good thing, but we are somehow unclear about the reason behind it. That we assume that because nowadays the environmental issue is something that people talk about a lot, so they might gain the awareness on this issue from the readings, on the articles or the news regarding this issue. So to sum up, the analysis of the survey data obtained, we conclude that most of the ISM members shows a very strong support towards any initiative to conserve and preserve the wildlife endangered species in Malaysia. But sadly, most of them are more likely to show their support towards endangered species in Malaysia if the endangered species have more favorable appearance. And furthermore, from the result
from the objective 2, we found that the majority of the SM member are aware and have a very can say strong on the knowledge on this endangerment issue, but only 49% of them are aware on the seriousness of this issue of the endangerment issue of the Malayan tapir in Malaysia. And last but not least, as an initiative to protect and conserve the habitat and the biodiversity of the wildlife, the application of the 3R, reuse, reduce and recycle, might be a huge help, because we are very dependent on the forest and wildlife resources, which somehow will destroy the ecosystem and biodiversity of the wildlife. So, and it will contribute to the extinctions of the wildlife. So yeah, the application of the reuse and cycle can help in protecting the endangered species in Malaysia. And after all, we as the most intelligent species on the earth, we have the responsibility to protect the endangered species, because even a simple act will count. So a simple act of kindness and compassion towards the wildlife will not mean anything to all creatures, but somehow will mean everything to one. So